She's got 6:59, use it ahead of the game. That's supposed to probably be all right.
Yeah.
Close enough with theirs. Yeah. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Other members tonight, Pete Vletti's going to be is here tonight, and my good buddy back there, Larry Tricano. Okay.
Trustee Foley,
Here.
Trustee Stack,
Here.
Trustee Cox,
Here.
Trustee Hopkins absent, Supervisor Allen.
Here.
Motion and vote to approve trustee participation by conference call. We don't have anybody.
We don't have nobody today, I don't think, but everybody understands what that is. Okay.
We have to put it on because we have so many absences, so.
Approval of prior meetings minutes.
A motion to approve.
We have a motion, you got a second?
Second.
Second, any questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Foley,
Aye.
Trustee Stack,
Aye.
Trustee Cox,
Yes.
Trustee Supervisor Allen.
Yes.
Sure. I'll hold it up here.
Action items?
Action item. Accept resignation of the township attorney, Jack Doherty, resigned.
Did he send a letter as well?
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay, do you want to read that, or just, you don't have to. I just-
He was very good, we thank him for the
Just
work he
says,
did.
This email, he serves to confirm that I am resigning from my role as township attorney. I appreciate the opportunity to have worked with each of you, Jack Doherty.
So I guess we need a motion to accept his resignation. I'll motion.
Motion second.
Second.
We have a motion and second, any questions?
Wait a minute. Cox motion, Jim second.
Okay.
Roll call.
Go.
Trustee Foley,
Aye.
Trustee Stack,
Aye.
Trustee Cox,
Yes.
Supervisor Allen.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Yes.
Okay, now discuss and vote filling of the township attorney vacancy.
I make a motion to appoint Justin Mattea.
Raise your hand, Justin. Okay.
Can I ask a question here? So on this, just so everybody's clear, because I think it's good that the public always kind of understands how it works and stuff. But I was always under the impression that the supervisor is the one that makes his appointment of the attorney. Am I right there, or?
It is, but it makes it nice this way because everybody agrees.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's fine. So what's his name? And then I'd like to discuss and ask whoever it is you, sir.
Yes.
Okay, a few questions or whatever. What's his name again?
Justin
Mattea.
Mattea.
You have to have a second on the motion before you.
We got a motion and a
Yeah.
second, and we have
Yeah.
the second. Any questions? If not, we do a roll call.
No, first it says, ma'am
Oh, yeah.
from the gallery.
Okay.
First it says, on the agenda, it says discuss, then it says vote. We wouldn't vote and then discuss it. Yeah, so first we discuss it, and then we vote. That's what I propose. So I just have a couple of questions, and I think that.
Well, I think the discussion is among the trustees.
What's that?
The discussion is among the trustees.
Yes, but also, if it would be okay, I'd like to, and I think the public would like to know just a couple things about yourself if we're prepared to vote on you. You don't have a problem with that, do you?
Well, you can ask me whatever you like.
Okay.
But the discussion is among the trustees.
All right, well, my question would be to the potential new lawyer, and I guess my question is, are you aware of the problems that this township board has had over the last several years?
I've watched many of your videos.
Okay, so were you aware of, like, when the township unionized, the board was not notified, then we found out later that one of the trustees was actually sitting in our meeting that was the head of that very union. And then another problem that we had, we even failed to pass a budget on time last year. We were 3 months late, and then we were still paying bills without the budget. And then lastly, I guess I would just like to know, like, what experience you have in municipal law?
Okay, well, I have spent a lot of time reviewing matters and watching the videos and reviewing the materials preparing for today. I worked with Judge Rarick, who's also reviewed some things and provided some opinions, I think, for today that we can discuss.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, I would like to know, like, your opinions on maybe those two things. And actually, I have even one more. It's been a big one with the law, the statute that says that we're not allowed to hold over 2.5 years of surplus. And because that's been a lot of contention on this board. And I'm curious what you have to say about those three things that I mentioned.
Well, this is an interview process. I mean, if
understand.
you want to sit down, me and you face to face, if I'm appointed, I'd be happy to go through all these things in detail with you.
And I guess you understand why I'm just asking, because I just want a lawyer who's fair and understands the law, because to protect this township. I don't want to be doing things that we have done in the past that were, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, against the law. I want to protect the taxpayers, and I want to protect the township. I want to be within the law. So you understand why I'm asking the questions.
And absolutely, we'll work together to be within the law. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, do you guys have any questions?
No,
No, I've already talked with Mr. Mateo, so
I'm ready to vote.
continue.
Ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Trustee Foley,
Aye.
For Mr. Mateo.
trustee Stack,
Aye.
trustee Cox,
I don't have enough information, so I'm going to say no.
supervisor Allen,
Aye.
Welcome aboard, Justin.
All ayes.
accept the resignation of trustee Dan Stack.
Dan Stack.
I mean,
Dan
Dan Hopkins. There is a Dan Stack.
Yes, there is.
You have a motion, sir?
Was there,
I
Were there any
I make a
letters?
motion,
Yeah.
yes. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
He sent an email.
is there a reason that I didn't receive that?
Yes, because it came to me and I didn't send it out to you guys.
Oh, okay. But you guys were aware of it, I guess. Go ahead.
Anyway, he said effective March 9th, 2020, he's resigning from position,
He's my neighbor, I know.
trustee.
Okay, and there was just no reason or whatnot?
No.
Okay, I was just curious.
Mr. Supervisor, do you have a motion or a recommendation?
Yes, we have the roll.
Hold on, we haven't even voted on the resignation.
Okay, go ahead. That's all right, go ahead.
I'll gladly accept the resignation because we didn't see eye to eye. I liked him as a person. I thought his attendance record was poor. I thought that, I disagreed that he didn't look at the bills before we'd actually vote on them, so we always had a disagreement. So I accept the resignation of Dan. I understand that he likes to go to spring training and stuff, and I wish him well.
So you're making a motion.
Sure.
A motion, second. Any questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Foley,
Aye.
trustee Stack,
Aye.
trustee Cox,
Yes.
supervisor Allen.
Aye.
Okay, now discuss and vote filling of the trustee vacancy.
Discuss and vote, the trustee vacancy.
Can I mention, this isn't the first time we've done this, it's not the second time, it's not the third time. This is the fourth time that we've had to do this. Mr. Stack was the last appointment that we had. The reason that I would like to discuss this a little bit more than our attorney, that I'm totally willing to work with, just so you understand. I just wanted to know a little bit about you. I'm left in the dark on a lot of things with anybody's name here. And so, this is different. The attorney is an appointment. The trustee is an elected, paid position. It's elected by the public. And we have elections for that. And I, a believer, no matter what, that the public's voice is number one. Even if, say I'm on the wrong side of the issue, whatever, the public.
Actually,
has
by
election.
rule, it is appointment now.
Yes.
Until the next election.
Yes, I understand, sir. And so what I'm trying to say is, this is an elected position. Do you agree with that?
This position is open for appointment now.
I understand. Is the
It's
trustee?
not a question and answer session with me.
Okay.
It is an appointment position now until the next election.
Right, but.
Those are the rules.
I understand the rule, and the rules also state, how long do we have to appoint the new, fill the vacancy?
My recollection is it's 60 days, but you don't have
Right.
to wait.
Okay,
You
exactly.
can do it today.
All right, exactly. So, the point is, he just made his resignation, actually, is the first I found out about it was 10 minutes ago. So, we could wait, we have an annual meeting, and do you understand how the annual meeting works?
Right.
Okay, and that is, it's really weird to townships because they give, you guys are the electors, you guys are in charge, and you guys get to vote on things, okay? And so we could, what I'm suggesting, because the first 3 times that we've done this, obviously it hasn't worked, okay? The other 3 times it failed, because now we're doing it again. I suggest that we hear from the people who would like to apply for this, and tell us the reasons. You know, it'll be on video. I know we got a couple videos going. And then at the next meeting, next month, okay, then let the actual voters, the electors, show of hands, and you probably still will get who you want. That's just what I think is fair, because it's an elected paid position. I'm guessing that you guys already have who you want. That's fine, okay, because I heard you discussing before the meeting. I would just like the opportunity, just like it says discuss, just to ask, the public at the very minimum deserves to hear from who would like to apply. Not just cancel everybody out and just pick your friend. That's all I'm asking for. And so I would like to find who is actually applying for this position tonight.
I don't think anybody's applying. I think it's an appointed position.
No, the board has to vote.
Right.
Okay, so we would
So
like,
if somebody's been appointed,
somebody's been appointed.
if somebody's appointed or was suggested by the, Mr. Allen, then people vote.
Okay, again, it says discuss, then vote. We don't vote and then discuss. I'd like to discuss who is applying. But this is fair. This isn't hard stuff. You're still gonna get your way. I just wanna know at least at the
There's no
very
way
minimum.
for me. You were just asking me
Okay,
questions. I'm trying
but
to
at
let
the
you know
very
what the rules
minimum,
are.
we need to know what their name is. Do they have a background? Because when I ran, I had to go up to the county and actually fill out paperwork and stuff. You gotta know a little bit about the person. I'm not suggesting whoever it is, I have no clue that they have any problem, but I'm sure there's rules in place, just like how I can't rent to a felon in Collinsville. We have to know who we're selecting. This is the people's choice. I just wanna give, at least, the very minimum, ask a couple of questions. So I'd like to know who is applying.
Well, if Mr. Allen is recommending somebody, then we can discuss that person.
Well, Mr. Foley recommended the last person, so I recommend Matt Gunther. I'd like to hear from Clint Ball. I see Rebecca, she's sitting there, and who else would like to go for it? That's how we did it in the past. We at least, at the very minimum, had people come up and present their case.
I
Did we
understand
not?
what you're talking about, but I thought I would made the appointment.
No, you don't. We vote on this one. Correct?
But he makes the appointment.
No, does the board vote then or not?
vote
Mr.
on
Allen
his
made a
appointment.
suggestion and the board
You have to
votes on
ratify
it.
his appointment.
Okay, then why didn't he make the suggestion on yours?
Well, I thought I heard him do that.
No, he didn't. Mike made the motion. Mike made the motion, so you're saying that anybody can make a motion. Well, then I make a motion that
I'm
Matthew
not saying
Gunther.
that,
That I just made a motion that Matthew Gunther will fill the vacancy of trustee. And I'd like to ask Matthew a couple of questions. And I have the same questions for
I think
whoever would like to
that's-
apply.
No, I think, I got to put him in.
Do
Right.
what?
I can.
you
put him
make
in
the
tonight.
appointment, it's discussed and voted on.
I can appoint him tonight.
Who's him?
This gentleman.
Yeah, no, he's the trustee, it's not a trustee tonight.
We can vote on
He's
it.
out of order, he's
What are you suggesting? This is very simple. I would like to have just a couple of questions and know the name of the person that we're voting on. So I made a motion that we find out who would like to be appointed township trustees.
Well, then you have to ask, does anybody second that motion?
So you don't want to know who you're even voting on, just like the bills. We like to vote on the bills without actually looking at them.
I always look at the bills. Don't accuse me of that when
They already know who they're
I always
voting on,
look at the
Terry.
bills.
Just let them make the appointment, take the vote.
I don't know who we're voting on. You might, but I
Hey,
don't.
your vote doesn't count
You're
anyway.
doing it.
It's foregone conclusion.
But do you understand what I'm saying? This looks really bad for the public. This is
This is the way it's done.
This is a person who is representing.
Only in your
This is
opinion,
the way
yes.
it's always
Yep.
done.
How many people do you represent?
How
many people do you represent?
I represent 37,000.
Hey, let this gentleman speak.
I think you need to call the matter to order. If you have somebody you want to appoint, then we can discuss and vote on it, Mr. Allen.
Yeah.
So call.
Call the meeting to order,
And you just go with
and I'm
your
going
appointment.
with Robert Milam.
They come in here.
Okay.
That's me, by the way.
Okay, got
Every
it.
time.
Motion for Robert, second by,
Me.
okay.
And now we can discuss it.
If you want to discuss it, you
Okay.
can at this point.
All right, and I know Rob. Terry made the motion.
Terry made the motion.
Right. All right, my couple questions are, just so people can, and I know you,
Can you see me? Is this my good side?
sure, and feel free to stand up if you like.
I made the appointment, and he started the emotion.
Yeah, and Rob, do you have any problem me asking you a couple questions?
Go ahead.
I mean, you're gonna be.
You already know me, so what do you
Well,
want?
I've shaken your hand before, and I had to block you on Facebook, but that's it. You know, so, anyway, here's the deal.
So we're saying we're not really friends.
I'm not saying that I can't be.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's the only reason they
Hey,
selected you.
Let's
So
go down to
anyway,
the meeting, yeah.
All right.
but you understand what I'm trying to say is the position is an elected position.
I understand.
You understand that. So the point that I was making is, would you have a problem with waiting until the next meeting and actually letting the public hear from you and then decide if there's anybody else that would like to apply as well? Would you have a problem with that?
Yeah, I do, because that's circumventing the supervisor's role. That's his role, is to appoint someone.
Okay, and so,
I mean, we'll have an election in what, 5 months?
no, we don't. No, it's another year, sir.
About a year. Okay,
It's another year, right. Let's see.
So then you'll get your chance to vote people will get their chance to vote who they want.
Right, I just want somebody.
I mean, the process is the process. If you don't agree with the process, then there's probably a legal way to change the process.
What do you feel like the attendance record, how do you feel about the attendance record of this board in the last 3 years? And should we expect from you?
Well, I'm here every meeting. I've been here every meeting, just about. I've been to probably just as many meetings as that you've attended.
No, not as many as me, I haven't missed. So, anyway, and you know that.
Right. But I was attending meetings before you ever were on this board.
What, you've been following it then, so what issues would you like to see addressed at the township?
The major issue that I'd like to see addressed is the lot next door.
Mhm. And what do you feel about our assessors here tonight, that we charged 2 times as much as like places like Edwardsville with like the same parcels? How do you feel about that?
I want to know what the assessor has to say about it.
I like the answer. And then the same thing with I had mentioned this with the lawyer, the 2.5 years. You understand that statute, and we've been working.
And we've discussed that, me and you.
Yeah, exactly. We've been working to get that.
And if you'd like to, I'd go into the reason why I feel like a refund is not a fair and equitable way to do it.
At this point, I think we're probably on the same page because we've diminished, so. Anyway, so do you think it's fair that everybody else be shut out? Or do you think it would be fair that I could ask a couple other people if they would like to apply?
Well, if you were the supervisor, that'd be your purview, but you're not the supervisor.
No, I'm just
And
asking you.
That's his role as
So you-
supervisor.
So.
I have no one way or the other. I'm just saying the role of the supervisor as written, he gets to make the appointment.
And I made the point.
The way I took it was, again.
Now, you guys get to vote on it, don't get me wrong.
Right,
He makes the appointment.
Mike did it last time with the lawyer that's not even elected, but then Terry, so there is no way, right away, we have up to 60 days to do it, that's what the law says.
That's up to you guys.
And so my whole thing is, I just want the public to be involved and just know who's representing them. And I think you would agree with that. I don't see what would ever be wrong with that. And we've done this
Right.
3 times. This is our 4th time, and the other 3 times we didn't get it right. You know, and so
Time will tell.
right. So I mean, do you guys, you don't want to hear from anybody else?
What do you mean we didn't get it right?
There's a motion and a second on the
This is
floor.
not a
this
situation where you
meeting.
can demand answers from other people on the board. You know that.
I don't. No, they don't have to answer.
So,
I made the motion already.
do you have any other matters you'd like to address with Mr. Mylum?
I just hope that your attendance record is better than what we've seen on the other ones.
It will be.
Okay.
Like he said, he's been here.
I do have one question for you. Do you intend on running in 2021?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I would also like to add that I've lived in this township my whole life, 42 years. My dad lived in this township for 87 years, and my grandpa before him, so I'm well aware of the issues with this township.
And were any of your family on this board?
No. But my mom was also Madison County Regional School Board President for many years.
I just don't think that it's fair whatsoever that we're not allowed to hear from anybody else that would like this position. There has been people that have come to every meeting that have spoke since last summer that also are going to be running next time. And why we shut the public out on this elected position, this is their representative. They should have a voice. And then to change the agenda, you even have public comments after. The whole thing is wrong, and I think that people understand that. And I would think that you would be on my side, because this would make you look like a good guy too, that you're not scared to say, hey, I'm going
So
for it.
you're saying I'm a bad guy, or what?
I'm saying it would
I
make
made
you look like
I
a
made
good
a
guy.
motion, now the second.
I'm just asking.
I made a motion, now
Call
the
for the question.
Yes. I have to call for the question.
I
I'm
call
gonna
for
do
the
whatever
question.
it is by the law, and that's the.
Well, what is that?
We got the motion.
Oh, call for a second. I thought you said call for a question.
And we have a second. We have a motion.
No, Jim made the motion. I need a second.
Second.
So moved.
Mike. Motion and second.
Okay.
Roll call.
Trustee Foley,
Aye.
Trustee Stack,
Aye.
Trustee Cox,
No.
Supervisor Allen.
Aye. That's how it works. Congratulations.
Swear him in.
Welcome to the board.
Yeah. She's gonna swear him in right now. And how many meetings have you missed? Only this one? That hasn't missed a meeting.
This is my first time.
Right hand.
I, Robert Milam, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office and justice to the best of my ability. You too. All right.
Moving on to public comments.
One. I love this time of the meeting. They move it back for you. Welcome. Congratulations, Justin.
Thank you.
Congratulations. What was your name, Emerson?
Robert.
Robert?
Yep. Milam.
Pardon?
Milam.
Okay. Clint Ball, Collinsville. Make sure I get that in there so Mike doesn't yell at me tonight. So, As again, what we're seeing here this evening is a ramrod of an individual onto the board. No negative comments about this gentleman here. But the process that hasn't happened now for the 4th time is quite embarrassing. I myself, I'll announce right now that I will be running for trustee position in the next election. I would have liked to have the opportunity this evening. What bothers me the most is a slight comment that I did catch that Mr. Stack here was well aware of who was resigning, who the appointment was going to be, and yet Mike says no. Derek obviously didn't know anything. So the behind the scenes operations that go on this board are pathetic, and I've stated this time and time again. Hopefully Justin will be a nice guiding force similar to Jack, and at least keeping the meeting in check. So far, I love your performance.
Thank you.
It can be hectic, and I'm flabbergasted again. I shouldn't be. I expect this mass chaos every meeting, every month. Next month should be a good showing. Hopefully, the entire public comes out, and looking forward to it. Thanks.
Good evening. Again, congratulations, Justin. Also, congratulations. Hopefully, Justin, you can, I see already that you'll bring some semblance of order to these meetings, and thankful for that.
What was your name?
Matt Gunther, Collinsville.
Thank you.
I will also be running for trustee in the coming election. Would have also liked to have had the opportunity to at least speak this evening. Maybe not to be considered because I understand the process, but to at least understand who the candidate was and who we were putting back into an important position. Although it is appointed at this point, understand the process, it's still an elected position, and the people should know who that person is, right? At the bare minimum.
Correct.
We should have an idea of who we're putting in the seat, because obviously the process doesn't work. We're on our 4th person in a single election, right? Or in a single term, sorry. But I'm not going to focus on that anymore. I want to focus on this agenda because it's still lacking, right? Unfinished business, to a point earlier about the parking lot. No update on the parking lot. No update where we are with any of that information. What about a budget? It's March. We failed to even talk about the budget or pass the budget on time last time. Still not it hasn't been on the agenda since January. Still not on the agenda. I assume that those conversations are happening in the background and the trustees are well aware of where we are with the current budget and how we're tracking to that budget. Those are the types of things as a taxpayer and a township resident that I would be curious about. Are we tracking to our budget? Who can tell me that? I know this isn't a time for answers, right? But it's rhetorical because I know we're not. Right? How are we tracking to a budget that's two times more than?
Yes.
Sorry?
That's right.
How are we tracking to a budget that's 2 times what our projected revenue is? I'll leave it at that.
I'm Mark Achenbach, Edmund So you just filled a vacancy, and the great thing about these phones is you can look stuff up. So this is ILC 60 ILCS 1 Article 60. Vacancies in township offices and the manner of filling them. So section 60-5, filling vacancies in township offices, except for the office of township or multi-township assessor, which would be Pete, so it doesn't apply to Pete. If a township fails to elect the number of township officers that the township is entitled to by law, that doesn't apply. Or a person elected to any township office fails to qualify, that doesn't apply. Or a vacancy in any township occurs for any other reason, including without limitation, the resignation of an officer or the conviction of any in court. So that applies because a trustee resigned. Then the township board shall fill the vacancy by appointment. The township board shall fill by vacancy. There's not a single word in here that says the supervisor.
Right.
So, you might want to read the code before you make rulings, because it's here for all of us to read too.
The book says it, Mark.
This is, I don't care what the book says, this is
Well,
the
I'm
statute.
telling you, the book is the law for the township.
The book is an interpretation, the statute is the law.
Amen.
That's all I got.
Lord have mercy.
Anyone else?
Yes, my name is Ron Jetta, I live in Collinsville.
Thank you.
And I did a FOIA request about a week or so ago, a week and a half ago, and got the response back in a timely manner. And what I did is a FOIA request asking for the records of mileage for various people within the township. And I got back reports, mileage reports for two individuals, Terry Allen and Vicki Jackson. And I went through for the last 2 years, and I pointed out, I'm going to point out what's really egregious problems with the way this is being done, and the fact that, which I pointed out in the past, the township board trustees are not doing proper oversight. There is a number of cases here. Mike, we can do without your snide comments or remarks.
I didn't make any snide comments. Don't
There's a
accuse me of
number
something that I didn't do.
That's all.
There's a number of items here where Supervisor Allen indicates on the sheets that he turns in that he also signs. He approves his own mileage report, which is just, never heard of anybody approving their own reimbursement report. But he has a number of them that 48 miles to Glen Carbon, Edwardsville, Glen Ed Pantry. From this location to the Glen Ed Pantry. I did a Google Maps request.
And in Edwardsville too, that same.
I did a Google Map request. It's 18.4 miles to the Glen Ed Pantry from here. The report says 48 miles. Now, in some instances, on some of the reports, it's 32 miles, and on some of the reports, it's 38 miles. So there's an inconsistency there.
Round trip, right?
Yeah, round trip. The Google Map, MapQuest, shows it at 9.2 miles, which makes it 18.4 miles, which means there's an inconsistency of it being almost 30 miles over. And this goes on and on. Also, there's a number of sheets that you'll see, and I have one of them here in front of me that's from 9/24 to 10/31. Dates with miles, no destinations indicated at all. Just a bunch of lines. Bunch of lines. Bottom, 432 miles, check $235 for Supervisor Allen, signed by and approved by Supervisor Allen. Again, not good accountability, not good responsibility on the part of the board to follow that up. Also, there was indications here where on December 27th, we have Terry going to the Glen Ed Pantry, 48 miles. The same day, Vicki Jackson, December 27th, goes to the Glen Ed Pantry for 48 miles. Two people from the township went up there for 48 miles. Again, it's 18.4 miles. Not sure why they went up the same day, but they did. We also had...
Because they had a lot more stuff, that's why.
Also we have that Vicki Jackson went and on September 27th, October 4th, and October 15th, she indicated it was 38 miles, not 48 miles. On another occasion, Vicki Jackson went on July 23rd and July 31st, August 21st, and September 9th to the Glen Ed Pantry, and it was 32 miles. Previously it was 38 miles, and before that was 48 miles. Also on that particular day, Vicki Jackson went to the Glen Ed Pantry for 32 miles. She also turned in on the same report that she went to Edwardsville, downtown Edwardsville, for training, and she got reimbursed for 23 miles. Now, if you look at where she went up there and she said she went 32 miles to the Glen Ed Pantry, and then if she came back, then she went back for 23 miles. So somehow those numbers don't all add up. So there's a lot of inconsistencies there. Again, there's a number of these sheets where there's no indication of where that person went, where they were at. Here's another sheet that shows blanks on where the destination was. You know, this is a requirement by the Internal Revenue Service that you're supposed to document where your mileage is at and what you're getting reimbursed for, and not just filling out a piece of paper with blanks, no destination, just putting down a bunch of miles, getting reimbursed, and you get your own reimbursement. Again, there's no oversight there. It's very poor that Terry is signing his own reimbursements and and approving his own reimbursements. Also, on 11/6, Vicki Jackson indicated that she went to the Madison County DMV. I'm assuming that's Department of Motor Vehicles, but it was the DMV, and that was 18.4 miles. And it's kind of right next to close to where the Glen Ed Pantry's at, in that same vicinity. So again, I want to point out that, you know, just going back for 2 years, there's a lot of inconsistencies here. The oversight of the mileage is obviously nobody's looking at the mileage. And I'll bring it up one more time. Anybody could fill one of these out, I guess, at the township and just say, hey, here's a bunch of places I went over the last month or 2 months, put mileage down, sign your own reimbursement, get a check for $235, which again, since it's reimbursement for an expense, it's not taxable. So it's a very poor accounting system, and I know I've brought some of these things up in the past, and I've gotten responses back from some of the trustees saying, well, that's not our responsibility. I would beg to differ greatly that as trustees, you have a responsibility to provide oversight of how your tax money is being spent and how people are getting reimbursed on things, and you should be looking at the bills, and somebody should be approving Supervisor Allen's mileage other than himself. Because if somebody would have signed this sheet as a trustee and said, sir, you're new to the board, and if they'd have said, would you sign this reimbursement for Terry? I'm sure you would have said, well, could you put down where you went or who you went to see? So it's very poor accounting on your part. And again, I wanted to point it out. After seeing this, you just have to wonder what else is going on up here. What else is taking place. That was what I wanted to say.
Mr.
Yes.
Jetta, those sheets that concern you, can you get a copy of those to me? Instead of me looking back through all the records myself.
Oh, sure, I'll be happy to give them to you.
Okay, thanks.
I'll be happy to give them to you. I mean, they were emailed to me, and I'll email them to you, the FOIA request, and you can look at them. I'll just make one other comment. You know, we had some other similar problems like this in the past at the supervisor's office and some of the staff there. And your predecessor, Mr. Doherty, indicated that he was going to go back and try to assist them in being able to operate the office properly. So you may have to take on some of those additional duties because they don't seem to be able to get things done properly at the office facility over there.
I'll get you my email after the meeting.
Yeah, yes. I'll tell you, I may leave early. You want to write it down here on the back of this? And that's all I have to say on
Oh, I've been bringing it up for 2 years. Oh, no, yeah, exactly. No, I'm not, I don't know if they get my own or what, but there's a lot of,
Let's move on. Any more public comments? If none, move on. Reports by officers or special committees.
Yeah, I'd like to address a few things. I guess I'll start with Mr. Jetta. And I know that we can't vote on anything tonight, but Mr. Milam just mentioned it, and so I'd like to, we'll put it on the agenda for next meeting, and then we can vote, but I'd like to call for an audit of the travel expenses. I've been bringing this up, and I talked to Ron. For the last couple of years, I brought it up. I'm like, where did you go, Terry? I'd ask, where did you go? And and it might not seem like it's a lot. It might only be $100 here, $200 here, but over 10, 20, 30 years, it really adds up. And this is money that could be well spent on, say, places like the senior center, and that's your tax dollars. Then I'd like to say that I wanted, what book were you talking about?
The township book.
So the township book is, that is, to my knowledge, that is TOI.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is kind of a firm for township officials of Illinois. It's a lobbying group, basically, and it gives us, it's not the actual law.
Time out.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna interrupt you. It is, they do lobby, but that is set by state statutes by the legislature, not by them.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, Mike, he read directly from the law. And so the same thing with
I've
the-
known Mark a long time. He's a square shooter and stuff like that. But I'm telling you what's in that book.
Okay, but we go by, do we go by what's in the book, or do we go by the law?
By case law.
The statute is the statute, and then it says what it says, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, and I was curious what book. That's what I assumed, the book that you were talking about. And then you had laughed about the 2 times revenue, and that is a fact as well. And you do acknowledge that now, correct?
No.
Okay. So, well, the numbers are what the numbers are. That's all I have. I do have a few things I'd like to add under unfinished business, or I can add them now. I just want the opportunity. So what do you want me to do with that?
Go ahead and do it.
Okay. I met with,
As long as we don't go on and on.
no, I mean, we only meet
Yeah,
once a
that's right.
month.
You
I
go-
mean,
you go
my
right ahead.
goodness.
Don't keep talking there.
Okay, I met with Carrie Ward, and she's from Republic Services, and that's the trash company. She reached out to me because the residents in the township, the trash contract is coming up. They usually do like a 5-year contract. So people with the big blue barrels and the recycling, they pay the monthly fee and stuff, and that contract is coming up. She reached out to me and she says, listen, this contract's coming up. I'd like to meet with you. So we met for breakfast, and we discussed what a new contract would look like. Go ahead.
Did you share this with the other trustees?
And that's what I'm doing right now. And
But before the meeting you did?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
She just reached out to me, wanted to talk to me. And so I talked to her, and she said that we discussed, like as far as price freeze, maybe a price reduction, and she said she would get all those numbers to the board. And it's looking real promising, and I'd like to get us moving before the contract actually ends. Unlike with the budget and stuff where we go over, I'd like to see if we can get a great deal. And she'll be emailing you and all of us the details of what she gets, and then we'll get that on the agenda hopefully for the next meeting.
That'd be fine.
Do you have her contact?
Yes, sure do.
Now, you talked about the city. The city and the township are 2 different things.
Township.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is.
Township's unincorporated.
Okay, this is the contract with the township. There's I asked, there's 1,800 homes, okay, units that have a blue barrel. And the reason I'm putting this out there is we'd like to hear from people in the township that use the service. Do they like their service? Do they want any changes to their service? So it's good to hear from them before we as a board just vote on what we don't, we like to hear from our residents. That's why I'm bringing this up.
Hey, can you get the contact to everybody so we can contact her too?
Absolutely, but yeah, you're sure. That's
I mean,
why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have it now for us?
I believe it might be in my wallet as a card, but her name is Carrie Ward, and I know that Vicki knows her, and you probably met her before. You've done contracts with her before. You act like I'm doing something illegal by
No,
by
I'm
talking to
just
somebody.
asking.
Okay, gotcha. So
No, you're bringing it up now.
All right.
Earlier you were talking about not sharing stuff before meetings, so I was just curious if you'd share this with everybody before the meeting.
that's why I'm doing it right now. I don't understand. This is a meeting to discuss. This is reports by officers and committee. I don't know what you're trying to get at.
I was only asking if you shared that with everybody before.
I'm sharing it right now. I met with her yesterday, sir.
It's not before.
Well, go ahead.
Not before.
You ain't supposed to have these meetings on the side.
I didn't think the public was supposed to talk right now.
You got it.
I thought the board was
Out of
talking.
anger.
All right,
Okay.
Go ahead and finish.
Let me just say, if the folks in the township like their trash service, or if they want any changes to their trash service, please let the board know what those changes would be. One suggestion would be, right now, a lot of people don't know this, but right now, there is a, you can call Republic Service and get your bulk picked up as many times as you want in the township. In the city, it's twice a year, okay? If we cut that back, say to 2 times a year, just like the city does, it would actually decrease the cost, potentially. That's what she's going to be sending to the board. So I'm asking the public, is this something that they would like in the township, in the unincorporated areas? Something they would like, or do they want that? She says only about 50 people actually took advantage of that last year, that actually did it more than twice. So she thought that perhaps if we went out and, you know, and asked the public what they wanted, that's why she was reaching out to me. She knows that I'm involved with things, and she wanted to know what people in the township thought of their service. She hasn't had many complaints, and the contract is coming up in the summer. So that's all that is, and there's a potential for the residents in the township to save some money. That's all it is. And I want the board to be engaged before we vote. So, I guess that's all I have right now.
Okay, any more reports by officers?
Oh, yes, yeah, so, these are just some basic changes I've made at the senior center. You know, obviously it's a nice facility, and it was just redone pretty recently. But I've got 4 new bingo sponsors. So what the sponsors is they'll bring a bunch of different prizes, so most like toiletries, soap, so basically stuff that you really need. So for some of them, you know, that could, you know, it's motivation. They'll come here no matter how bad the weather is. We just have to tell them not to come.
And that's no charge to us when they bring it.
No charge at all. So there's no charge. And then also I got the chair yoga added. The instructor, she's 71 years old, and she has 5 certifications, and she's certified in chair yoga. She does it at the Edwardsville Library and then other places, but I've got to meet her, and I think that's going to be really good. And then my chair exercises attendance is increased, so I've been taking attendance for several weeks now. And before I was informed, it was about 10 to maybe 15 people max. Well, we hit 29 last Friday. So every week there's new people, so that's really cool. And the TOPS weight loss group, they've been slowly added into it. And then also I've got the craft club added once a month, so it's not, and none of this, mind you, is cost anything to them. And the craft club is a lot of donations and stuff. So and then also I've got about 2 to 3 presentations a month, like educated presentations, to utilize that monitor out there. So I've been trying to get more use out of that. And we had like the Cahokia Mound volunteer came. It was actually really cool. And then also I've been organized a lot and cleaned the center office as well. So on the hour, what I've been doing for the most part every hour is I'll walk around and spray alcohol on every single door handle, anything like faucets in the bathrooms and all that stuff, just kind of, and then I'll wipe down tables. And then also, so I just call it the cleanliness checkup. And then the bathrooms both have a pink one for the girls, a blue for the guys. And let's say I'm out of my office and I'm doing something and they can't find me, they can grab a slip and then set it at my office door, so that way, okay, I need to go and check on the bathroom, it needs to be. And then, so yeah, that's fine.
And we have a lunch every morning. Young lady, would you like to?
Yes, and Cinda's been doing a really good job with the lunch and stuff. I think, I do believe Cinda it seems like it's increased a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So, the food's good, so I've been eating it.
And how much is it per person? 25?
It's on a donation.
Yeah, it's a $5 donation.
$5 donation. But you don't have to pay if you can.
Yeah. And Cinda's done a good job. If I don't, Cinda's been here for a long time, so she'll give me a lot of good advice on like how many chairs I should have out for certain things and just things that I wouldn't know without her. So I appreciate it.
You're making a good team.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Very good.
I'd like to make a point. I think Mr. Brandon is doing a fabulous job here at the senior center, and that he needs to be applauded for.
And our young lady too, both.
Me too.
Yeah. Anybody else? Can we go to approval of bills?
General assistance is $7,777.04.
So moved.
We have a motion, second? Second. Any questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Foley,
Aye.
Trustee Stack,
Aye.
Trustee Cox,
Yes.
Supervisor Allen.
Aye. Did you ask about trustee Mylan?
Oh.
I'm gonna abstain because I haven't seen the bills or.
Wow.
Hey.
Love it.
Got that on film.
Road and Bridge General is $113,876.43. Road and Bridge Permanent is $488,266.26. Road and Bridge Social Security and Medicare is $3,136.05. Road and Bridge IMRF is $2,884.24. And the total is $608,162.98.
And most all of you here know what a good job Larry Turcano does with his team. I mean, they do a marvelous job. I want to thank them again too.
Marvelous, Larry, marvelous.
And they do.
I motion to approve that, and then I'll make a comment.
Second.
I got a call from Kathy in the township, and I don't know if you guys realize that the $600,000+ is very excessive. She had to move money from one account to another. That's the reason that.
Roll call.
Trustee Foley,
Aye.
Trustee Stack,
Aye.
Trustee Cox,
Yes.
Trustee Mylum,
Once again, I'm just gonna abstain because I haven't had a chance to really look this over.
Supervisor Allen.
Aye.
Town General, there is no road and bridge equipment. Town General is $103,435.94. Town IMRF is $3,328.15. Town Social Security and Medicare is $4,801.96. Town Senior Center is $100. Town Pauper Fund is $200.32, and the total is $111,866.37.
Get a motion?
So moved.
Motion and second.
And does this include the assessor's car, this one?
I think so.
I'm sure it
was in the
does.
bills, yeah.
Okay.
Information.
And do you want to say anything about that?
All the other ones getting to be 10 years old, and 10 years old, they stop making parts for them, so.
Right, and so I guess my question is, we shouldn't expect to see travel expenses from your office because they use our car.
Didn't get any travel expenses.
That's what I'm
because we
asking.
haven't used. There's gonna be occasionally when somebody has used a personal car, but that's always been logged, or all the mileage and where it goes is logged in the car.
Yep, and that's all I was asking. And then my other question was, all the clothes that we were buying, I didn't quite understand that. A lot of men's shirts.
That we were buying.
Yes, that
We
we
didn't
bought.
buy 'em.
Oh, they're,
Yes, we did.
yeah, we did.
Did we buy some?
They're for their, go out in the fields, so people know that they're from the assessor's office and not from someplace else. So if you prefer us sending them out with anything on, so they don't know whether it's a crook I've shown up the door or not, it's okay with me.
I'm asking a question, I didn't know. All I saw was 6 pages from Kohl's shirts, and they were all men's. And that's why I didn't know what they were for, that's why I was asking. And then, so if they're from Kohl's, then are we then getting them logoed and stuff?
Yes.
Okay, and so that price was in there as well, so.
Just so you don't get, we give away clothes that people give us to to poor people that come in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to didn't know the difference.
And so is
Okay.
this like, how often do we do this? I'm just curious.
Well, that's every day we got.
No.
Oh,
Every 3-4 years.
Oh, okay, so they last that long. Okay, I didn't know. Okay.
Roll call. Trustee Foley,
Aye.
trustee Stack, trustee Cox,
Yes.
trustee Mylum,
I abstain.
supervisor Allen.
aye.
The senior center, the Township Senior Center building is $3,466.11. The Township Senior Center lunch is $3,021.06. The total is $6,487.17.
So moved.
Mike,
Second.
second. Any questions? None, roll call.
Trustee Foley,
Aye.
trustee Stack,
Aye.
trustee Cox,
Yes.
trustee Mylum,
I abstain.
supervisor Allen.
Aye.
Correspondence.
Moving on to correspondence. We got a thank you note from County Unit 3. And, go ahead.
It says, we are so fortunate to be, this was to Brandon, we are so fortunate to be allowed to hold our meetings at the Collinsville Senior Center. The facility is lovely and the staff is always so accommodating. You do us a great service and we thank you most sincerely. Retired Teachers Association, Madison County Unit 3. And we have a thank you from First Student. Thank you for helping your community by helping First Student. Open interviews every Tuesday, 10 to 12, all locations. Susan and Missy. And we have a letter from the Special Olympics, another thank you. Thank you for your recent donation in support of the law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics Illinois. Your generous contribution of $125 helps provide year-round training and competition for over 23,000 athletes with intellectual disabilities and more than 17,000 young athletes and peer partners ages 2 to 7 with and without intellectual disabilities in Illinois. 2018 proved to be another successful year for the Illinois Law Enforcement Torch Run, as more than $4.7 million was raised for the athletes of Special Olympics Illinois. Reaching this goal allows even more athletes to enjoy the transformative power of sport and the Special Olympics experience. This year, Torch Run took place June 2nd through the 7th across the state. Nearly 3,000 officers carried the flag of hope 1,500 miles for the athletes of Special Olympics Illinois. While the fundraising and special events will continue until the end of the year, the actual run culminated with lighting the cauldron to open the Special Olympics Illinois Summer Games in Normal on June 7th. Thanks to you, these athletes inspire greatness in everyone. Thanks again for your support of the Law Enforcement Torch Run. With gratitude, Chief Stephen Stelter and Jim Fitzpatrick. And then this is just a letter from the Associated Bank about switching, the accounts are going to be going from Associated to First National Bank. The checking accounts and that. They're just switching over to other banks.
And I might say this too, we want to thank a lot of people who come in and thank us how clean we keep this place, and our other place too, but this place, you know, a lot of different people come in and we try our best to really keep it nice.
Herbie does a really good job.
Yes, he's marvelous.
He's gotta do a better job.
I have been having to
Transition.
mop a lot of food up the hallway.
It's going from,
No, it's going from FNB to Associated bought out FNB, so all the accounts are being transitioned over to
Okay,
Associated Bank.
I didn't catch that. Okay.
Will there be routing numbers changed?
Associated Bank bought the routing numbers for FNB, so the routing number should stay the same. But we might want to double check that, but that's fine.
Check your accounts, cause my account changed.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
we ought to double check routing
Yeah.
numbers.
That's all I know.
there's one just with Derek.
Anything on the unfinished business? Okay.
Update on what?
Arby?
New business.
Moving on.
New business, there was a bid for our Tarco Windy 100 leaf machine. That's been canceled. They're gonna get more bids. So they didn't accept that one.
And we'll revisit that and go after it in the fall.
Anything else, Larry?
Oh, we're just doing tree trimming, opening up ditches. Really not much more than that, because the ground's so wet. That's about all I got.
This is a good time to thank your crew too, you and your crew. What a wonderful job you guys have been doing. Moving on.
Discuss and vote to approve the annual town meeting agenda.
Find that in here, is it in here?
No,
Or
no, they
proposed?
just told me the date. Oh, the amount in there?
No, the proposed, agenda, I guess we're voting on it.
Yeah.
It hasn't even been posted on your website yet.
We haven't voted on it.
So where was
But it's the annual meeting for the public to see, to add items to the agenda.
That's over with. It had to be in by March 1st.
Exactly. Annual meeting.
See how it
got
works.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I see no problem with the agenda we had in previous years. Make a motion to
Well,
approve this agenda.
were there any, petitions?
There's a letter attached explaining those.
Yes. Okay, is it all right if I read, I don't know if they actually, what it's saying is, because there were several petitions that people signed, and it says, none of the foregoing items are matters within the power granted to the electors at the annual town meeting. And then it goes on to explain, this is from Philip J. Rarick, sorry.
Supreme Court Justice. Farmers.
So I guess, let's see, so I guess there was petitioned items and then those were no good. Does anybody want to explain that?
The petitioned items are, at least as to the salary, are specifically by statute given to the board and are not given to the electors to decide. So those are board matters. So they're not available for the annual meeting. And the supervisor is the supervisor of the General Assistance Fund, and there's no authority to delegate that function. So the contracting of the General Assistance Fund with food banks is also not a proper item for the electors under the statute.
So if we wanted to take action, what the public has been asking for, because I believe these people that were out getting signatures, and I signed one, they were asking for just a vote because the annual meeting, it's like the folks are in charge. Can you give me any guidance, or them any guidance for, we do this every single year, but what are things that they could have voted on?
Sure, I can get that to you.
Yeah, because I would like to know,
Yeah.
right, if they get petitions, and I believe there was sometimes 50, 60 of them, what it takes to actually let the people have a voice. And so the other thing that I would mention is, because I think that you're with me on this, that we were talking about, so in the items under reviews, the petitioners, they asked for lowering of the supervisor's salary, they asked for lowering of the assessor's salary, they asked for lowering of the assessor's budget, and well, they're not going to be able to vote on, but you're saying as a board, we could.
The board decides those things. The statute gives the board power, so the electors don't have the power to override what the board does or change what the board does. The electors have decisions in other matters, but not those
Okay,
specifically
and so yeah, we
delegated
as a
to the
board can come together and decide if we want to lower all of our
Who ruled on that?
salaries.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your meeting, because I thought you said I didn't hear. Who ruled on that? You said someone ruled on
Not
that?
during the term.
I don't know what.
The judge, right?
Was
that true?
It was the opinion of Phil Jerry.
Former Supreme Court judge.
Is he an active court? Is he on the court now?
No. He's
Well, it's not a
retired.
court, I mean, it's just a former judge.
It's just an opinion of
I'm
the
just
citizen.
looking at the attorney.
Who is
You know,
he?
I've gotten shot down before for this open period comment, so let's just stop it.
Thank you.
Yeah, public comment's over, so,
I'll ask you after the meeting.
yeah, be happy to talk to you.
Yeah, sure.
So we're basically voting on, the agenda states that there's a pledge of allegiance, there's an elector of a moderator, just so that folks know. And Terry gives his report, the assessor gives his report, road commissioner gives his report, and then we can say something. And then there's other there's really nothing on here. Then, am I missing anything?
Budget?
No, we don't have to, so, that's all that's on there, and that's at 6, it's at a different time, 6 o'clock?
6:30.
6:30. But the public will be able to stand up and speak, at this meeting. If that means anything. Yep.
Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, and then there's a regular Board of Trustees meeting after that.
Motion on the annual town meeting, a motion?
I made the motion.
We have a motion and a second, we have a second. Any questions? If none, roll call.
Who's the second?
Yeah.
Speak up.
He had his hand up, I'm sorry.
Trustee Foley,
Aye.
trustee Stack,
Aye.
trustee Cox,
No.
Trustee Mylum,
Yes.
Supervisor Allen,
Aye.
assessor's comment.
I really don't have much, it's just that we've gotten, doing the homestead, our exemptions for seniors and that. We're probably gonna have to in the future do it a little different way. It's gonna take probably more time than we're used to, but one of the reasons they used to have people sign the senior one every year was to make sure they were alive. And that sounds a little morbid, that's the way it is, because, you know, when my mother passed away, I could have got a free year out of it. And I didn't, you know, we did not. I re-signed up when I was supposed to, obviously. But if somebody dies and the property doesn't get transferred hands, we don't know about it. Well, they changed the law where they're gonna do it by transfers going through the office. And so we're gonna have to be spending a lot more time looking at obituaries. That's just what we have to do. And they've gotten a lot of different exemptions now for military exemptions and things like that, we're now, the state legislature in their wisdom put through. I don't agree with all of them, but we have to administer them, so we've had a big increase in that, as well as we do all the tax freezes and that. We find ourselves filling out a lot of tax freezes. So we probably have at least 2 employees a year, almost, if you looked at it full-time, we put them on a full-time basis, that's about all we do. We're going to be reassessing some areas, like we do. We try to get a quarter of it done every year. We pretty well got them labeled out where they're at. I think what we're starting to see is a little bit of change in relative pricing between us and Edwardsville Township, where Edwardsville looks like they probably hit top and they're probably a little too high above us in price. It used to be about a 15% difference between a house in Edwardsville and one in Council Township. We're starting to see less of that, especially towards Maryville. And I think that Edwardsville's kind of pushed themselves up to the top of the price. I think we're starting to see some overthrow in the council and some raising values here in council. So that's depends on how you want to look at it. It's either good or bad. But most people like to see their house go up, but that also means that we have to reassess, and then it's going to go up a little bit. But that's the job. And we are required now to go out and look at every house and photograph every house.
Wow.
Every 4 years. It's the new law and it's the new requirement, so we're making changes to account for that, but we're gonna be doing a lot more field work than we have in the past.
And I guess that law also applies for all the other townships in St. Clair County and everybody in Illinois?
They're gonna, it's supposed to,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
This gentleman's nose is one of the greatest in the state of Illinois. Yeah, yeah, yes, he is. He sure is. Go ahead, Larry? And you wanna give anything else? Okay. And Larry's one of the greatest too. Thank you. Anything else? Yeah, Mike?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion and second. Any questions? If not, roll call.
Jim, second.
Of course.
Trustee Foley?
Aye.
Trustee Stack?
Aye.
Trustee Cox?
Yes.
Trustee Mylum?
Yes.
Supervisor Hess?
Aye. Thank you all for being here.